This is the XVE Podcast. Welcome.
That was my favorite.
Okay.
That's not how it sounds at
doing
all.
that?
Dude,
Okay.
it goes, this is the XVE Podcast. And then just, get up and get the God now, jump.
Jesus Christ.
Demonetized.
Oh shit, I'm feeling.
Oh shit, I'm feeling it.
First, we had to be monetized to be demonetized.
Nobody's gonna monetize us because this podcast is trash. Hello, everyone. As Jason said, this is the XVE Podcast. We've been going at this for a while, guys. We actually did it. We made it like 6 weeks straight, I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think this is
More
the
like
6th
5 for
one.
me.
Yeah.
It's actually insane.
I am your host, Kyle, and joining me today is Seth, Shane, and Jason. As Jason has already stated, but as you noticed, neither of us said Travis. Travis is MIA today. So, we're going to run down the topics
Fuck
real
him.
quick, like usual. Yeah, fuck him. Gamescom just happened this week, and actually I'm pretty sure it's still going on for certain booths and whatnot. And, had a lot of pretty good announcements from that. WoW Classic is coming up next week, and everybody and their sister and third cousin is excited for that one, so we're going to be talking about that as well.
4 days.
There's a little bit of sadness to this episode this week as well, as GameStop has completely wiped out a huge chunk of their corporate side, including several of the journalist staff that were part of Game Informer. And then after that, we're just going to be talking about just other stuff that's been happening this week. There's a couple of things that are definitely going to get brought up later, so we're going to jump right into it right now. So first off, as you all know, WoW Classic comes out in 4 days. And, well, I think it's a little bit more than that. It's like 5. Well, it's 4 days if you don't count today.
It was like, was it 26th, I think?
27th?
Or am I wrong?
I thought it was 27th.
Hold on, let me pull out my
I thought it was
stat
the
sheet
23rd.
for this discussion.
Ooh.
Your what?
My stat sheet. I gotta list down the best classes from best to last.
Shane, do me a
But
favor.
is the release date on that?
Yeah, so it is
I meant-
27th. I just looked it up. I know you're still looking to Shane, though. Yeah, Shane, you got a release date on that stat page, you fuck?
The 27th.
Alright. Mostly accurate.
How excited for this are we, guys?
I'm gonna unsubscribe from retail WoW to play classic.
You literally can't.
That's the magic.
Yeah, that's the magic. I'm gonna do the impossible.
I'm excited to do the leveling and to have fun with it, but since I know how retail is so much, so I know that Classic's going to be even more of just boiling down to the elitists, and you have to get lucky to find someone who's not going to treat you like. So I'm probably
That's
not going
why
to play
you
the end
gather
game.
That's why you gather up your friends and
Yeah, you gotta use the
Make
old
them-
classic friends list, limited.
and then
Not
force your
like-
other friends who don't play to play. That way you have a full raid team.
Back when you made friends that were actually on your server.
Oh, the days where there wasn't as, like, I think that's one of the biggest things with this that's gonna make a lot of people realize how different the early WoW days were, is that there's no cross-server or anything. So you're like, that server is all that you got. That's all that you got. Whoever you're working with there is it.
Also, Shane actually made a good point the other day. I know, crazy.
Whoa.
That
Thanks.
add-ons and stuff have come so far in WoW that it's not going to be classic for very long anyway, unless you choose to not download anything.
Yeah.
I mean, people are already
Yeah.
making a group finder and stuff. Like,
It looks almost exactly what retail WoW has too. So I think that's pretty wild. DPS meters would be more accurate. Like there's just a lot more. Like unit frames are way fancier now. Way
The only problem with DPS meters and stuff being more accurate is because it just enforces what I was just talking about with the elitism.
I
People
just
can be more
realized
elitist when things are more accurate.
something I'm
people are
actually
probably
excited
gonna
for
have
about
item
that, too.
levels.
What's that, Jason?
Not super well, actually no. They would be condensed numbers still. It was just before they got too big.
Yeah, the
That's-
stat bloating is gonna still be reasonable stat bloating and not just like, oh my god, fucking, I'm doing like. Well, they had to change it with Battle for Azeroth,
Well,
didn't
yeah,
they?
every couple
They've changed
expansions
it a
they
few
had to do it
times. Yeah, they stat squish.
because they were like, "Whoa, this is getting out of hand."
Imagine if they never did that and it just kept going.
Then it would look like mobile games, man.
You gotta be doing 6.8 million DPS or you can't be in this raid.
Hey, that's not an outlandish number. I've heard that. You gotta be. Now, if we ever get to like the billions and trillions of damage, that's too much.
Rest
When
in
your
peace,
damage
Ret
gets
Paladin.
scientific notation, you got a problem.
If you are pulling 4 to the 58th power DPS, then we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
So
Actually, it'd be 4 times 10 to the 58th. That's like what 40 fucking trillion gajillion.
something like that. 11 to 12 teen. Fucking
There we go.
what patch is this starting on? Have they said specifically which one of Classic?
Yes.
Classic 1.0 is basically what it is.
1.12, I think. I don't.
Okay, so yeah, that's like
Yeah.
the last hot fix before.
From what I read, they're basically calling it Classic 1.0 because they've changed some things that weren't changed yet, so the patch cycles aren't exactly like perfectly lined.
Oh yeah. Apparently 95% of the servers are already full. You had to
But,
like
I still never made my character.
reserve
Yeah,
a spot in servers.
the one server that we all joined is actually already full, and it was.
Did it just like within the 2 days? Because I know I checked probably about 3 or 4 days ago, and it was
I'll check
high,
for
but it
you right
wasn't
now.
full.
Yeah, I think right now
I'd
it's
still
full
be
according
down to
to the
play.
server list.
4 days
Yep,
ago,
it's full.
Blizzard announced that
Well.
they were starting on launch day. The login queue was gonna start at 10,000.
Yeah, it was something
That's why I'm not
ridiculous.
playing on launch day.
I will. I just have like a small game up during it, or I'll play my Switch while I'm in.
Or actually, yeah. I just realized that doesn't mean I can't literally play there. I just have to wait. That's just the wait queue for when the game launches, right?
Yeah.
Basically, all those people who are technically in it right now will be first in line.
Yeah.
They'll expand the servers anyway because they've already been talking about how this was this was unexpected. They didn't expect this because I saw this coming.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're in a way they're disconnected from their fans because even when people used to ask about Classic, they're like, "You don't want that." Are you sure? 'Cause right now there's a lot of people getting ready. But then again, they still might be right because there's always that honeymoon phase. So people might play for a week, be like, "Oh yeah, this is bullshit," and quit. Which is why we joined a highly populated server just in case.
This is how. Okay, this is Blizzard's game plan, and I guarantee it's how it's gonna work. Okay. You got Classic WoW bringing older people back to the game, right? They'll play Classic
Right.
for a while, and maybe that honeymoon phase wears off, or maybe they just have a falling out with friends, or something happens that they quit. You think they're gonna waste that expansion, or you think they're gonna give good old retail a shot that they've never tried before because they haven't played it since Classic?
I think a
They
lot
don't
of
have to
people.
pay anymore. Like,
I
yeah.
think that
they're
also
already
ties
paid for.
into your elitist factor because a lot of the elitists don't want to touch new WoW anyways. I think a lot of them, depending on if they are one or not, will look at that and go, yeah, let's give it a shot, or they'll go, no, never, I refuse. It's this or nothing. It's nerf or nothing.
Yeah, like I mean, I know it's WoW general chat, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But people have been talking in general chat about how they're worried that Classic might split the fan base in half. Like a whole lot of people, it's going to start more arguments than there already are about which is better. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it
because now
could,
both
but
people have something to back themselves up.
I feel like it's just gonna fall it's just gonna fall into the classic Blizzard cycle, as I like to call it, and that's where you got all these games they have, and you just kind of cycle through as they get updated, and new stuff comes out, or you just feel like playing it. You know what I mean?
That's still something we don't know about Classic, which is weird. Nothing new is going to come out. What happens when they hit the last patch before Burning Crusade? What are they going to do?
I mean, yeah, that is
I guess depending on
quite
how
something.
popular it is, they'll decide whether they want to move on to Burning Crusade because they've already talked about that it could be a possibility. They
But
don't
there
want to confirm anything.
But there has to be a stopping point, or it's just retail. What's that
It's
point?
light retail.
Well, what would
I
they?
feel like if there was a point, it'd be Wrath. It would have to be Wrath because that's when everything changed. Like
That's what I was about to
And that
ask.
was Cataclysm.
What was the cutoff so that you would like in 2020? What would you consider classic World of Warcraft to be? It's like that argument where it's like,
Oh,
what would you
everything
consider
up until Cataclysm.
retro video
Yeah.
games to be? It's like
I
I
can-
still don't consider the PlayStation 2 retro, but I know a shit ton of people that do. Like it's that thing.
Yeah.
the majority of the community agrees that Wrath would be the cutoff point.
Yo,
I mean, I
Wrath
believe that's
or
what it is.
Cataclysm was really the point where they were like, okay, let's make WoW accessible for more people, which fucking awesome. I'm glad they did that because more people to play with is amazing. But it also meant we lost a lot of diversity across coming from Cataclysm through Mists, all the talent changes and whatnot. So I would consider Wrath the very end of Classic WoW.
At least your fancy I don't even want to call it a casualized update because Cataclysm wasn't really casualized. It was just
Also,
made
let's
it
remember
easier.
that Cataclysm was almost 10 years ago now.
Ugh,
So
don't
don't tell me
remind
that.
me.
Yeah, we got pulled over. Me and Alex did on our way back after getting Cataclysm. I think about it.
That's funny.
She should be like, officer, this is very important. We had to get home and get max level.
Okay. Seth, do you remember Xavier from
Hardesty,
Pickway Raw?
yeah.
Okay, so basically oh my god, yeah, okay. He went up there with us to Circleville GameStop, I'm pretty sure it was, to get that. He wasn't even getting the game, but he went there, and he managed to get the front door thrown into his face of GameStop as soon as they opened up the doors. And so, we all on our way back home, for some reason, him and Alex are just going at it, not really going at it, but just going fast down the highway. And for some reason, we decided to split off onto the side road that's right next to the highway. And when you know it, we just zoomed past two cops sitting in a closed parking lot. And they pulled us over. They're like, "You guys in a hurry?" We're like, "Yeah, we just got this new game. Just came out. We got we got let off of a warning, so it wasn't anything crazy, but it was just a interesting experience, I guess. It was kind of funny now I think about it. I wonder what was going through their heads, motherfuckers.
Oh man.
Sorry to go on a tangent there.
Oh no, it's all right.
I love tangents.
That was a good story too.
Tangents are my favorite, right beside tangerines. See,
But to kind of bring it back a little bit, Shane, I know you're excited for Classic, as am I. But would you be more excited if it just straight went up to Wrath? Like not
Yeah,
right now. Like not it releases and it goes to Wrath. Not that. I mean
like a
if they had
confirmation
already
that they're 100%
pre-confirmed.
going to.
Yes.
Yes.
Because I would be so much more excited.
You know what I wish they would have done? And this is like hot S tier pipe dream right here, okay? You ready for this? I wanted them to recreate the Warcraft 3 campaign, and then you start playing that in WoW and go into WoW Classic and then through the like up to Wrath too. They would never do that 100%, but to truly make WoW Classic have its own original content, they could do something crazy with the lore like that because they want to rewrite a
Whoa.
bunch of the shit anyways.
What if they just made Warcraft style games of all the expansions of WoW?
Are you trying to add sprinkles to my vanilla ice?
Oh shit. Oh god. The elitists are here. Everybody take cover.
Okay, you realize that you saying add new content to Classic is enough to have people in Reddit literally shaking right
Yeah,
now with
I'm
how
sure
mad they
whoever reads this is gonna send me death threats, and all I gotta say is, "Come get me, baby."
because people have brought that up. Like, what if we keep the game classic, don't change the stat or skills, make everything blah blah blah, just do balance fixes, maybe add some new little passives or something to freshen up the game every now and again.
Yeah.
But add new raids and new bosses and new dungeons.
And
People were fucking pissed off.
yeah,
People are like,
I've
"What?"
seen it. Yeah, people were like,
Some of the most hardcore classic fans, it seems like they want the game to die in 2 years when the game would have died without BC.
it's so that in another 5 to 6 years they can go, God, I remember classic WoW. Why don't they redo it? Why don't they reboot classic WoW? And then classic WoW comes out, and everybody plays it, does the same thing. Then they're like, man, classic WoW was the best. Where's classic WoW? It's a fucking
my
cycle.
brain just melted.
That's what
Not
it is,
that it
though.
takes very much.
It's the need for something old, the realization you actually don't. The realization that the reason why it's nostalgic is because you shouldn't be allowed to have that back. Well, I don't know if I want to say allowed to have it back. Everybody should get a chance to relive something that they enjoyed. But once they relive it again, that experience is just gone once again. It was here, and then it's gone, and you can reminisce about it forever. But when it comes back and you relive it again, you get that good feeling like, wow, I'm doing this all over again. This is amazing. But then it's gone again. There's no definitive way to keep that like happiness from that. Like the nostalgia will fade away eventually. This podcast is sponsored by Depressing Monologues, but like seriously, there's no way to keep that nostalgia after you've experienced it so much.
Achievements into retail WoW.
Achievements into retail. Wow. What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. You can show off your achievements from classic WoW into retail WoW.
Oh, I got
Okay,
what you
yeah.
mean.
There you go.
But I'm saying like
I know.
like okay, dude, I met this guy in
No, I
Goldshire,
understand.
and we were like hanging out, killing shit, and then we decided to form a guild. Blah 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 blah. Okay, fast forward 10 years, or wait, what time did Classic WoW come out? Oh god, like 2004. Fast forward almost 16 years later, dude. We're coming back to Goldshire. This is so awesome. Just like how we met. Let's form a guild. Blah 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 blah. Play through the whole thing again. Well, that was really cool. Glad we did that. 3 months go by.
See ya.
Hey, do you remember how we formed that guild in Goldshire? Man, that was good times. That's literally what's gonna happen every single time. It's just a repeat of itself.
But wait, the real backbone of classic WoW, the ones that will keep playing after everything is done, the role players.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna join fucking Hydraxian Waterlords. That's the role playing server. Do good times in Goldshire.
Dude, play out
See-
Siege of Orgrimmar in classic WoW.
But how do you guys think classic WoW is going to actually end up faring with the fact that the private server scene's still going to be around.
I'm not sure because I played on a couple private servers and they're fun, but I
think
think people want the actual legit
But
experience.
But the guys from the
Still.
Stralis basically said they were going to try to rebuild and come back. They had the closest thing to real classic WoW anybody's ever seen on a private server. You think people wouldn't move there for a chance to not pay?
Oh, yeah, I
I
guess
could
that's
see
the
them
point.
doing that. I could also see a lot of servers upping their custom content like effort now too, which I mean that's a hit or miss situation. Either you like that stuff where they take liberty into their own hands, or you want the authentic experience. So it's just gonna depend on what people want out of that, honestly. Because I've seen plenty of servers that are like, this is a WoW private server times 2 XP, and then it's like, but you can like triple wield fucking katanas and shit. And it's like, why the fuck can I do this? Like, this wasn't in WoW. And then you see the other ones that are like vanilla XP, authentic server, blah 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 blah. Like, it just depends.
Yeah, it's like the one me and Vinny played. You know, it's like, hey, they had the regular ones where you could just make whatever class you wanted to. You can do whatever the fuck, which of course would end up into everybody just building the same overpowered things. But they also kind of came up with fresh new ideas, but it was such as the random stuff. You know, I still think it's just going to come down to if you really want to buy or like pay for it or not.
Yeah, it's almost like for those who already play retail WoW, this is a convenience. It's like, hey, you also see a classic WoW, that's cool. It was like classic RuneScape when it was still around. It was like, cool, you're a member in RuneScape. Now you can play the old version too if you want. It was like, all right, whatever.
Still can. That's how it works.
Yep.
But like I said, a lot of comparison has to be made to old school RuneScape when you're talking about classic WoW, because they did the same thing. They brought back a game from the heyday and remade it, but then they added new content because the fans let them. It doesn't seem like classic is going to be afforded that luxury, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I would love to see what Blizzard does with the classic architecture, but allowed to make more things in it. Like, I would love that.
There's also the interest of would Blizzard even want to? I mean, they're the ones developing it anyways. I highly doubt they want to push for the old, unless they look at
How
it
many
as
concurrent
another
subs has it
reset.
has?
Well, I mean, with the sub also kind of, do they have a way to track if people are just playing classic WoW? Do you think compared to
Yeah,
regular?
they'll have
Oh,
a way
sure.
to track the player base.
Absolutely.
So with that, then I think they'd probably decide on whether or not they'd be interested in doing that.
If classic WoW staying updated is what keeps them above the 10, like the couple million subscriber mark, which they've been kind of stuck at. They've been stuck at around 4 million for a while now. If they can get back up to their 10 million heyday, they're not gonna give it.
I think they could use it as a reset button too, or at least make another timeline. Because there's one thing about Blizzard games that everybody usually doesn't talk about, but it's probably one of the most like fleshed out parts of it, and that's the lore. And WoW is getting to the like level of animes with like if this didn't happen, this would have happened, and like there's like a million different things with what was the cranky old orc's name? The one with the big beard. He was a bitch. Gul'dan.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's done a lot of
Fucking
dumb stuff.
the shit with like his skull, how it's like from a separate timeline or whatever now, like where Illidan talked to it. I'm just vaguely remembering bits and pieces here, but yeah, it's like just shit like that. With Warlords of Draenor really was the one that did all that though.
I wouldn't say it's getting to anime tier. I would say it's getting to like comic book tier.
Book tier, yeah, that's
Did
probably
you
more
say
Like,
they're
accurate.
good
with
of
just the
lore?
amount of retcon.
I said that their lore is fleshed out. I never said their lore was good.
I was gonna
Some
say
of it's really good.
because that thing of Faustad or Fausted Wildhammer. I can't.
Oh
That's
God.
why I want to compare it to comics again. Some of it's really
Jason,
good.
do
It
you know
feels
what
like
I'm
it's written
talking
by
about?
different people.
Red shirt guy.
Yeah, red shirt guy, man. He's not in
Yeah,
the
dude.
game. What happened to him?
He hangs out in the Capitol now. A dude with
Yeah,
a
he
red
got
shirt.
he got turned into a character in WoW. He doesn't exist in the real world anymore.
That's how they get you in WoW. They kill you.
Oh, then you're digitized forever. It's like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, that's why Frostmourne in Hearthstone, like when you kill a minion, when it breaks, it summons the minions you killed.
Oh, they have an IRL
Whoa.
Frostmourne.
Yeah, dude.
The
Don't
slogan
you have
is
that
Frostmourne
picture of that
hungers, but for real this time.
guy with the picture, or the picture of the guy cut like a steak or something with Frostmourne?
Oh yeah,
That
I
steak's in
remember
WoW
that.
now.
Yeah, that stakes in
Is it
WoW.
really? Oh shit.
So all three of you will be playing Classic WoW, obviously. Is there anything that you are most excited for content-wise that's already in the game, like that you know you're gonna get to do again that you're excited about?
Fucking. Actually, I did not. Not that I ever did it in the first place, but AV, man. I'm excited for
Oh,
that.
I'm so excited for the old
Even though
battleground.
I know you told me there's an event going on retail for it coming up.
What's AV?
Alteric Valley.
Alteric Valley. Okay, to give you a little insight here, Kyle. It's like a really big map, and there's like your main fortress. It's almost kind of like a MOBA in a way. You know, think about it. It's 40v40, so compared to like uh your standard like what I don't even remember Warsong Gulch where it's 10v10, then the next biggest one's 15v15.
Right.
This is a 40v40. Um, there's respawn points, like the graveyards you can capture that will allow you to respawn like there. Um, there's Lord, like the main people, we're just going to call them kings for right now because I can't think what to call them. If you kill them, you win the game, the match, basically. And it's like basically like raid boss level, kind of tough.
Yeah, and you would
But
like collect your enemy's blood and summon stuff, and it was
there was
nuts.
items where if when you killed enemy players, you could loot them and you get flesh. You could turn those in to summon like these either Griffin Riders or the Wyvern Riders to go and attack places. There was armor, which you could, or scrap armor, which you could use to upgrade your NPC guards for these points. There was the blood, which you could use to turn into an escort quest, which would cause you to escort these NPCs into towards the middle of the map and summon a giant overpowered elemental
Yeah, that was
to
so fun.
slowly travel down through the enemy's territory up to their boss, pretty much. There's just so many things that you could do, and allegedly, from what I heard, these matches could go on for days. Like if things worked out properly, people would be
People
able to
just
jump in and
cycling
out
in
of
and
these
out.
things. Yeah, but
Go
eventually
to
they
sleep, wake
updated it.
up, join the same battle.
Yeah, eventually they updated it and added a reinforcement count, which every time the player died, you'd lose one reinforcement. If they took like the towers or like the main people, you'd lose a big chunk of them. So eventually, you would either kill the Lord or one team would run out of reinforcements first, and the match was over. Basically, it just turned it into a big Zerg. Like whoever could Zerg the fastest would win.
Although when I did AV, which wasn't until Wrath, even with the reinforcement count, sometimes that battleground would still go on for like an hour.
It
2
could.
hours.
It could.
I remember playing a lot of it in Burning Crusade, and it was pretty weird because that's also before they changed. They had to move. I can't remember if it was the Horde's boss. They had to move him around because the Alliance would start trying to rush up to him and end it real quick. And
Because it
I don't
was
think they're gonna
slightly
make it
closer, I think.
longer. Yeah.
There was another thing that I remembered that kind of added to the whole not having the reinforcements counts. There was really strong choke points on the map where you could have a really good defense you could set up. Like as if you just kept killing everybody coming in, there's like bridges and other spots where you could just set up at. Just keep
Yeah,
it
the
going.
Alliance had a pretty good setup near their boss because they had a bridge you could knock people off of, and well, I don't think you had moves you can knock people off of with back then. It was still a good choke point in general. The Horde had, I guess, a good choke point because you had to go through a watchtower, I believe, to even get to their boss. And it was wooded, like had a wooden fence.
Something like that.
The thing I'm most excited about with Classic, even though I didn't start until Wrath, so I never got to play it in the first place, was like I'm just excited for like leveling to actually feel like it matters. Like there's not even enough quests in Classic WoW to get you to max level. You have to grind mobs. Like leveling is a real thing that you have to go through.
An actual MMO style leveling too.
And then some dungeons back then were 10-mans too. Sholomans. What else? There was another one that's supposed to be 10-man. But yeah, some dungeons were not even like considered like actual dungeons. So that's gonna be nuts too. They're like mini raids.
What about you, Shane?
pretty
Anything
sweet.
that you're really looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to forgetting all my ammo all over again. Because I play Hunter.
Looking forward to going 4 hours farming for something, forgetting to feed your pet, and then it leaves, and you have to find a new one and re-level it.
Your pets can leave. That's a fucking... Alright. Tell you what I'm excited for. I'm excited to jump into Final Fantasy 14. Okay, next topic, guys.
Oh, God.
No, I was just doing that because fucking... I don't know.
I don't want to play it again.
I don't know if I would ever want to get back into Classic WoW. I definitely want to get into Final Fantasy 14, speaking of MMOs, and I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I even want to play Star Wars The Old Republic again at some point, just to see how far the story of that has come along.
We can get back. I want to get back into Final Fantasy 14 at some point too, so it's probably something we should all plan to.
Yeah. I agree. I was thinking about buying it on Steam with like the expansions soon.
I just need to pick up the expansions. I have it on Steam already.
The story of that MMO is really fleshed out.
Alright, guys. Well, we've already been at it for a half hour. Is there any other WoW Classic you want to talk about? Anything? I think there was one. Is there any mechanics that you guys are gonna dread coming back other than the ammo? Because from the sound of it, the ammo is one of them.
Having to make a macro to manually cancel your spell cast so you can use your interrupt because other spells wouldn't interrupt your channeled spells in class.
What?
Yeah, that was a thing for a while. I had to do that for my silencing shot in rank.
Doesn't make it any fun. I feel like that's one of the things they should have changed because it was quality of life. I don't think it actually mattered to the game. Because not everyone back then had interrupts. So it was like a very like only some people had to deal with it.
Usually it's rogues because their interrupt time is so low anyway, or shamans.
But
Because half
rogues
the
didn't have
time,
a lot of casting spells. They could just mash.
My
through.
interrupt did damage back then, so you would just macro the hunter's interrupt into your rotation and just fucking shoot it whatever. Good time.
The mage's interrupt does nothing other than interrupt. So I have to go out of my way to make a macro just to interrupt spells. Because like some classes like rogue and warrior with theirs, they don't matter. They're not casting spells. They're just waiting on global cooldowns. Whereas people like mages and warlocks, that's all we're doing is just feeding cast bar after cast bar.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get back into World of Warrior Craft.
Good luck. Buy lots of food. or cook. That's all I can tell you, man. Because these warriors now are spoiled by Victory Rush. I don't even remember when you get that. I don't even think that was introduced until like Burning Crusade.
Alright.
I can't remember.
So for our next topic, Gamescom just happened this week. It is still happening this week, technically, as I said at the beginning of the podcast. We got a show on the 19th. It was called Gamescom Opening Night Live, where Jeff Keighley came out and dropped a bunch of shit on our heads like he usually does, just dropping tons of content and news. And a couple of the highlights from that was we got some Death Stranding gameplay at the very end of the show. That was probably one of the major announcements. Right in the middle of the show, PlayStation bought Insomniac Games, and a sequel to Kerbal Space Program 2 was announced, which I would consider pretty big, as well as Little Nightmares 2. So we got two like major indie sequels, some Death Stranding stuff. Need for Speed Heat got some gameplay. Actually looks really good. It reminds me a lot of Underground.
That's good.
And then
Monster Hunter got
Got
some
the new Monster Hunter
gameplay.
trailer
Yeah.
with
Got new
the
Elder Dragon.
Brachydios official reveal. Yeah, and that new Elder Dragon that looks crazy. It's like bioluminescent and weird.
Velkhana,
And...
dude. Holy shit.
No, the other one.
Wait, what's the other one?
Yeah, there's a new one. It's a water Elder Dragon. It's got like a lot of people are making memes of him with RGB lights because he has that weird
He's
bioluminescence.
Dude,
yeah,
he's literally liquid cooling the dragon.
pretty much. I think people have said what his name is, but I don't know if that's a confirmed name.
I was gonna say the trailer at Gamescom only showed Velkhana again.
Did you wait? Have you guys not seen the trailer? I sent it to you, Shane.
What? I've seen it.
The one where they revealed his name.
Oh, I guess I didn't see that part. I just saw him.
His name is Namiel.
Oh yeah, that was. Oh, they must have done that later during the Gamescom like show.
It was the
floor.
next day. Yeah.
Okay.
He looks great.
So does Bracky. Bracky looks incredible.
I'll just sum up all the Reddit comments. He looks beautiful. I'm gonna kill it. There you go.
I don't know if it was at Gamescom because I saw it on Twitter and no one had said anything about it. But did you see? I'm just assuming it was that the combat pack for MK11 now has all of its characters.
Yeah, there was. It's Spawn, Joker, and T1 Terminator.
What's wrong?
So that brings us to what? Nightwolf, Sindel, Spawn, Joker, and
Yeah, I think that's 6, 5.
Was it just me, or did the Joker look a little weird?
Why do you think I sounded like that when I said Joker? That motherfucker looks so bad. NetherRealm Studios, what are you doing? Stop looking for reasons to make Joker characters. They're always shitty. They never work. Quit it!
I think they didn't want to use the same design from Injustice, but they really should have. Because the Injustice design is the closest they've ever gotten to him looking comic book-esque.
Yeah, the Injustice design also looks like fucking the comparison. The only comparison that comes to mind is the Injustice version is now the Heath Ledger Joker, and this new one is Jared Leto. That's how bad it looks. As soon as I saw
It does
the
just
picture,
look like a dude dressed as Joker.
yeah, as soon as I
It
saw
does.
the picture, I was like, I'm the Joker, baby.
It looks really bad.
You know what they should have done? They should have done Joaquin Phoenix's Joker from the new movie. That would have been a cool one because it's a new design anyways, and it's promotion, and it's
Yeah, free promotion.
and he doesn't,
Also-
and that Joker design doesn't look bad. So,
Have you heard how mad people are about it?
oh yeah,
Because it won't be finished till March of next year. That's when Spawn comes out.
Oh,
Maybe.
I didn't know
I
that.
might. Spawn comes out in March. Yeah.
So from Nightwolf releasing this week sometime, I think it was earlier this week, till March is when it'll end.
So there was also one other thing that was announced during Death Stranding that I'm really during Death Stranding. Jesus Christ. Well, that's
Is it
Norman
Norman Reedus and
Reedus?
P?
that's on the brain, I
Yeah,
guess.
Norman
No,
Reedus.
we'll get to the P in a second. Oh, what I was trying to say was during Gamescom, and that was that the Yakuza collection was announced. It's
Oh, of course you're gonna mention that. You're
It's
like the hugest Yakuza fan.
3, 4, and 5. And hey, man, I'm not alone. There's a lot of people on this planet that absolutely love that series.
I have
It
definitely
wasn't that
dabbled in it,
SpongeBob
and it's very.
SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrator will run at 60 FPS on Nintendo. That was a mouthful.
That's pretty high. Wait, are you telling me SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is gonna run at 60 FPS on Nintendo Switch?
Yeah. I'm telling you that SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated is going to run at 60 FPS on Nintendo Switch.
That is insane. Who would have ever thought that SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Edition was gonna run at 60 FPS on Nintendo Switch? That is crazy to me.
I'm not even gonna attempt. I already can't talk.
Shane's version would be like, Sponge Beanie Battle Bob 60 Switch PFS.
Oh, did you guys see the super weird Russian game that's coming out that was revealed at Gamescom called Chernobylite?
Yes, dude. Holy shit, it looks so strange.
It's like a survival horror game in Chernobyl?
Yep.
The Gamescom always has some strange stuff to show us, more so than anything else.
Well, we get the obscure games there because it's all of the European developers, and they all make weird shit. Like all of them do. And not to say it's bad, a lot of the games are really good, but just a lot of the time it's crazy how strange some of the trailers and stuff are. Like they were hyped to bring back Comanche, which is like that old school helicopter game. That was one of the first like announcements they showed during the opening night live show, and I was like, okay, what the fuck is Comanche? Like,
Yeah.
Did you guys see the trailer, or I don't know if it was a trailer, but they showed it off a little bit for a game called like Astronauts? It's that Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley-esque game, but instead of you doing it all, your main goal is to build robots to do it for you.
Ooh.
I don't think I saw that actually, because I missed part of it.
that sounds cool. Sounds like Factorio.
It does.
A little bit, yeah.
Dude, yeah, Chernobylite looks sick though. It's supposed to be coming out this autumn.
Do you know what looked a lot better than it had any right to look? Even still, Minecraft Dungeons.
I know a lot of
It
people
actually
that say,
looks fun.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that game actually looks legitimately fun.
Yeah, it's the Diablo killer.
No, it's just Diablo 4. That's what it is. Blizzard
It
was
doesn't
like,
take
you
much
guys
to kill
make it.
Diablo at this point.
Damn. Okay, so back to Yakuza because we got sidetracked, as we normally do. That's almost a joke in itself with the XVE group, is that we get sidetracked so much that it's just like it's bound to happen every podcast. But the Yakuza collection is going to come with 3, 4, and 5. And if you get the fancy version, it's only $60 with its fancy case and shit, and it comes with a PS3 case of Yakuza 3. I don't know why they did that, but that's really fucking cool. So, they actually also shadow dropped Yakuza 3 the day they announced it. So they were like, this collection's coming out at the beginning of next year, and you can get the first game in that collection right now digitally. So everybody was losing their minds, and by everybody I meant me.
Yeah, that's a really good drop.
It was probably one of the coolest things to happen from Gamescom this year. Sega was bringing it hard. They also had another game they announced called Humankind. I don't know if you guys saw that. It looked like Sega's version of Civilization.
Oh yeah, I did see that. It looked okay.
So Sega was bringing games this year, definitely for sure. Let's see. Anything else here that was?
Well,
I'm currently
there was
looking.
the official reveal of Avengers gameplay. Like, official, not leaked. And they showed it off like one character at a time.
Yeah, I seen the Captain America bit of that. It looks really like fluid.
Also, the most important thing, Kyle, to me and you, because we're crazy, is that Windjammers 2 got announced.
Wait, Windjammers 2 got announced.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god! This is the best day ever.
Oh, yeah, calm down.
No,
Scaring me.
it's Windjammers. You
Dude,
wouldn't understand.
Windjammers is great.
They have competitive Windjammers tournaments, okay?
It's part of the FGC for whatever reason.
Lethal League's part of the FGC as well.
They're both like extreme sports-esque fighting game mixes, so I understand.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I think I'm ready to talk about the Death Stranding stuff. How about you guys? You want to talk about Norman Reedus taking a piss?
Norman Peters, yeah.
Norman Baby Shaker, yeah.
That So as everybody knows, quick recap: Jeff Keighley came on stage, did a little jiggy, and was like, "Hey y'all, my buddy Kojima's here." And then Kojima came out and was like, "Hey y'all," and then handed it over to his translator. And for about the last 15 or so minutes of the show, we got a full-on like detailed 2 trailers and then a little gameplay segment, kind of showing a little bit more context, though still revealing absolutely nothing. I don't know how he keeps doing that. But there was a trailer for the character Mama, who, for those that were paying attention, was played by
Margaret Qualley,
Quali.
or how
Yep,
you pronounce her name.
that's her. Thank you. Yeah, she was an interesting character from that trailer, I'd say, definitely. The reason why she's called Mama, or at least the reason why I think she's called Mama, is because she has a literal baby attached to her, but from the other side. Whatever the other dimension is in Death Stranding, we're not gonna do any deep dive analyses on the whatever the fuck that game is. Still, we're
Because
waiting.
we don't know anything.
We're waiting till November for that. But whatever the other dimension is that these BTs, as they're called, are from, her baby is also stuck in it, and she's like taking care of it, but not really at the same time. So that's why they call her Mama. And then we also got a trailer for Guillermo del Toro's character, which his name is Deadman, and something that I do kind of want to speculate on right now, but that's only because it was very obvious what was happening. I think he's dead. And not just because of his name, not just because of his name being Deadman, but because during certain parts of the trailer, he's like phasing in and out. Like he's kind of like disappearing slowly and then reappearing. Like he's almost like a hologram. At first I thought maybe he wasn't actually there, which that could still be the case. It could just be like a transmission or something, but he's like physically touching things, so I don't know how that could be the case. But yeah, he's like phasing in and out of this world, and I'm wondering if maybe he's already dead and he has some way to stay in the world that Norman Reedus is in compared to the other world. And then go on, Shane.
That man is dead. And that's it. That's me. I'm out.
Also, the best gameplay part, you have to take care of a baby
Yeah, so after that,
in a bubble.
they acted like they were gonna go away off stage because Kojima was like, "No, I'm not showing gameplay till Tokyo Game Show," and then everybody booed and got upset. So he was like, "Lol, JK, here's a small snippet," and the first like 3-4 minutes. Wait, was the gameplay even
Norman
that
Reedus
long?
peeing.
Like,
I was him sleeping or
yeah,
something.
the first like 20
relaxing.
seconds of it was just him just sitting there, and it said press circle to wake up. So then he gets up, and I'm just gonna kind of quick play-by-play this. He gets up and unloads the tank. He straight up like starts pissing, and there's an indicator for how many. I think the number was milliliters of piss there was in his bladder. Yeah.
And
And
grew a
if
mushroom.
everyone in the connected world pees in the same spot, things can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got cross streams.
Yeah. Things grow. A mushroom, as Shane just said, sprouted. We all screamed "piss mushroom." It was hilarious. And then jumping ahead to after the gameplay for that specific segment, Kojima was like, if you all pee together at the same places, you can make things grow. So the goal, everybody, is to all meet up at the exact same coordinates and then piss until we have a garden. That is what we're going to do.
We're gonna make the biggest mushroom in the world.
So then he starts walking around in the gameplay trailer, and he's just shouting. And I couldn't really tell why he was doing it. He was just screaming. He was like, "Hello, is anybody out there? Hello!" And finds this small, like, sci-fi shack almost that has a bunch of, like, Kojima Productions logos and shit all over it.
You forgot the best part.
What?
How
The
he
ladder?
climbed up that small hill.
Oh yeah,
the
he
ladder.
whipped out the ladder. That's right.
He left it. That drove me insane. Like, why would you leave a perfectly
Well, how you
good?
gonna
ladder?
get it? How you gonna
How
get
do
it
you gonna
back?
get back down?
Yeah,
You gotta fold it back up.
from the top.
Well,
You're gonna
getting-
pull the.
Getting
Yeah,
it
you
back
can
is
pull
easy.
it
up.
You just pull it up one rung at a time. But what if you have to go back down? Are you just gonna be
Well, I mean, he
guess I'll
didn't
jump.
use it to get back down. He
Yeah,
did kind of.
obviously. Did you see what happened?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
we're getting ahead of
we're
ourselves.
so you're jumping
Yeah,
ahead.
we're
You're
getting
jumping
ahead.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
so he finds his shack after he climbs the ladder. Can't forget the ladder. Sorry about forgetting the ladder. Climbs the ladder. That he deploys himself from his backpack
From a
or his
suitcase.
series of backpacks. I'm still not entirely sure what the whole delivery system thing is, but he's usually rocking like 7 or 8 packs, it looks like, at one time. So he pulls out the ladder, he climbs up, and he goes up to the shack. It's covered in Kojima Productions logos and the "I'll Keep Coming" trailer or poster. I mean, and he talks to this guy that's a hologram, and he inserts the packages he was delivering into the little. It looked like some kind of what I thought of was those tubes that you shoot mail up into. You like put them in a tube and it just goes dunk and like
Whomp.
yeah. It was
Yeah.
like
Like it
it
bangs.
was like one of those, but with bigger. It was box shaped and for bigger packages. And then surprise, the hologram clears up and it's Jeff Keighley. He's in the game because
What? I could tell it was him before he even cleared up. What are you talking about?
because why do they even need him in the game? Also, Shane, good job. Your eyeballs work. Who couldn't tell he was already in the game? I'm just
The
saying
crowd
that he
didn't even go
becomes.
wild until he became clear. That's what confused me.
It's because maybe a lot of people couldn't tell. Anyways, he's in the game. He's like doing the YMCA or some shit for Norman Reedus as he leaves. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was I think he said it was the UCA logo.
It was something goofy.
Yeah, he was like, he was doing it behind him, and he's like looking behind him, not paying attention, walks off the cliff, it hurts the baby. So now becomes the most important mechanic of the game. You have to shake the baby until it stops crying. I repeat,
think
Not
you
too
have
hard.
to shake the baby until it stops crying.
Not too hard.
But not too
Slight
hard
shake.
because that's a lawsuit.
Yeah,
People are
that
gonna shake
baby
the shit out
part.
of that
is
baby.
gonna- yeah, that baby part's gonna be really weird.
I just hope
People are
that
gonna be
there's
weird.
a lot of cases where that's not. Okay, so what my thought is that it was because of the way he fell. I mean, who knows if the game's going to be this advanced, but there was like damage to the pot or something that the baby was in. That's my hope. Because
Yeah,
any
I hope
other
it's
time,
not just a walk around and have to do it. That'd be annoying.
well, I don't even mean just that. I just mean like, okay, Norman Reedus gets shot in the shoulder or gets hit in the face, and then the baby starts crying. I don't want that. Like, I want it to be the baby took damage and that's why it's crying. Not
Oh, I got you.
Norman got hit in the face. Like, I don't want it to be Yoshi gets hit and the baby flies off going wah wah wah. Like
I don't want it to be like I was worried it was going to be on like kind of like a hidden timer where it's like you're just walking through the world doing your thing and all of a sudden the baby's like hold me.
there's still
Like,
a chance
I
for
don't
that.
want to.
Like,
I don't want to. That's annoying.
yeah,
It'll wear off real fast.
That's a thing. It's gonna be really tedious, but I could see it. And then so he shakes the baby until it stops crying, and then was there anything after that? It just kind of ended, right?
Yeah, and then
He ran down a
Kojima,
hill.
Kojima tried to like
Oh yeah,
make more sense of
he
it,
did an
but didn't.
L2 plus R2 to grip. That was giving me anxiety the entire time that was happening. I kept shouting, "Press L2 plus R2 to grip," because he just kept sliding
didn't-
down the hill really fast. I was like, "Stop!" And then yeah, what Seth said, he comes out later is like, now you won't be able to see Norman Reedus's wiener, and then the crowd booed in anger, and then
Wait,
Still
what's
a chance for
happening?
Keanu Reeves wiener though.
then in Cyberpunk, you mean?
Yeah, dude. You think they mocap that too?
They could
Oh
have.
my god. No!
They just stick one of those big mocap balls right on the tip. Just let it hang.
They don't use those anymore. They
Ow.
would have had to mark it with the markers. They would have had to just slap one of those little.
Imagine being the intern having to sit down and draw little dots on someone's dick. Just, I'm so sorry.
That's a whole podcast in itself. So yeah, he explained what was happening in each of the trailers and in the gameplay, and then he kind of was like, "You'll get more at Tokyo Game Show. Peace out." And Gamescom opening night live ended. That was the end of the show. Um, Overall, I'd say the show was pretty lackluster. Even the Death Stranding stuff really didn't give us anything new, which for that game, I don't want anything new right now. I just want to play it. I think the mystery, it being intact still, is enough to keep people like wanting to play the game. The fact that they keep showing us more of the game makes me less intrigued on what's going on and more of just, oh, I'm just gonna play it because I want to play it.
Unless it's all just a ruse, because the way he's making it look right now is like a AAA walking simulator. Not that that's bad. That's just what it looks like.
Well, that is bad.
Looks, but looks can be
That's
deceiving.
very bad. Walking simulator games are terrible. Vanishing of Ethan Carter sucks. Fight me. But there's a lot of things where I'm not convinced that the full game is being shown to us in the way that he actually is meaning to. He keeps showing us
This
all these.
podcast is sponsored by walking simulators.
He keeps showing us all of these like open like landscapes that he's just walking around. In the first gameplay trailer we got, the one that revealed the release date, or no, I guess technically the one at E3 last year was the first actual gameplay trailer because he was walking around in real time in that one. But the one that they showed with the release date was the first one that they showed us gameplay of, and that one showed us even way more than that Gamescom trailer did, with him fighting the guys that look like they were from Monsters Inc., the ones in the yellow jumpsuits, and etc., etc. So I think there's a lot more to it than he wants to even reveal to us. And I'm really hoping that when it comes down to actually playing the final game, it's going to be another MGS2, where with Metal Gear Solid 2, when it came out, everybody only got trailers of Solid Snake. Nobody had any idea they were going to be playing as Raiden after the opening prologue. Which, if you think about it, I guess he kind of did that again with Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, not really, but kind of.
I mean,
So I can see him doing it again. We don't play as Norman Reedus at all in this game. We just play as the baby. We're just stuck in a pod watching everything happen all day.
it's just literally all cinematic.
Yep. No. I think the game will be with Norman Reedus. All jokes aside, but I just don't think that he's showing us what is actually going to be going down in the game. For like, just he's afraid to spoil too much. I think he's worried that people caught on to Metal Gear Solid 5's trick too fast and too easily. Because people figured out Metal Gear Solid 5 like a week before it came out. They were like, oh, you're not even the actual big boss. You're the dude with facial reconstruction surgery. And that ended up being right. So, What else from Gamescom? You guys see anything you were excited for from Gamescom?
I didn't watch games.
Awesome. Definitely going to be cutting this part out. Dead silence.
Well, I was trying to think because I didn't get to watch a lot of it because I was actually at work.
Is there
So I'm
any
trying to think
is
of.
there any news or anything that you've seen on the side? Like any other announcements just around on the net that were announced at Gamescom that you're like, okay, yeah, that looks pretty cool.
But there was something the other day. I can't remember what it was. It doesn't do me any good to say that because I don't remember what it was. But fuck. Yeah, I can't. Even remember.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for Gamescom anyways. Essentially, it was a 2-hour show. They should have, instead of calling it Gamescom this year, they should have called it Watch 2 Hours of Nothing Until Norman Reedus Takes a Piss.
Yeah,
And
it didn't seem like it had any huge stuff going on with it. That's one bad.
we're at a part of the year right now, even worse than like every third E3, where like it's just a weird time in between game releases. Like this year in particular, because we just got like stuff, major releases like Fire Emblem and stuff, and we're on the cusp of getting games like Astral Chain and the Link's Awakening remaster and stuff next month. Like we're like in this like fine period of like, this is just these European devs showing off their shit to everybody over there, and then we kind of get some of the wind of it over here.
Well, also Gamescom is more for like playing demos and journalism and stuff.
Yeah, Gamescom is for actually being there, whereas E3 is a lot easier to just watch from home. Which is crazy because Gamescom's all the way in Germany.
Yeah.
Speaking of all the way in Germany, you want to talk about the Game Informer thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but before we get into that, there was one more thing about Gamescom that I want to say. Whoever won the Farming Simulator Esports Championship Series, I just want to say, 1, fucking why, 2, congratulations, and 3, you should become a farmer in real life. Not because it's like, don't play the game, but because if you're that good to where they just paid you a shit ton of money and gave you a trophy to be a farmer, maybe you should do it because our planet is dying and we need food.
The grand prize should have been a fully fledged operated farm.
Dude, the deed from like Stardew Valley, just a deed to a farm was the prize. Okay, so now on to a darker topic, a sinister topic, a topic where people got fucked over, and I don't like that. So GameStop, which runs the magazine Game Informer, has been losing stock quite significantly to the point to where stores are getting shut down slowly across the country. And just a few days ago during Gamescom, they laid off, what was it, 150 staff members total or something like that. There was
It's
a
like
large
100 like corporate staff, I believe, and then it was like half of Game Informer staff. Oh my!
Yeah, we got all of we got a large portion of the corporate staff from GameStop was let go from their positions, and yeah, the entire like 50%, 1/50th, is that how you say that? Whatever. Of Game Informer, what like Game Informer was cut in half basically, and a bunch of people lost their jobs. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that in the sense that I hope those people find new jobs, like especially the ones from Game Informer, because like they were just trying to get some game coverage, man. They weren't hurting nobody. The corporate people, I'm sure some shady shit was going on with them, because there's always shady shit going on with corporate people. But like, yeah,
But will they survive? Do you think this? I mean, I know they're slowly dying, but they're holding on somehow. Their
I
whole
think Game Informer itself is dead, but I think that's GameStop cutting them out on purpose.
yeah.
Because a lot of people, when you think about a magazine publication, you think about all these people that work there. Game Informer was staffed by 19 people. They fired 7. There's 12 people trying to put out an entire magazine every month. And like a whole bunch of their like lead editors and stuff were the people that got fired, which is awful. So I think GameStop is probably going to cut the rest of their losses before long, get rid of Game Informer altogether, and then use to, just to conserve money.
I think we are going to see the actual, either the company itself is going to get bought by somebody and repurposed into another kind of game outlet, or it's going to vanish entirely within the next 3 to 5 years. I can see GameStop going under in that time frame. They've had so many like downs and no ups, and a lot of
All
the
downs.
stores in major cities, like where we live, there's never probably going to be the issue of digital overpowering physical, because our GameStops around here get a lot of business. I think all 3 across the different like towns in our area are all prestige stores now. Without revealing, too much of where we live and shit, the one in the city closest to us, and then the one in the city parallel to us, and then the one in the city that's like right below us. All 3 of them are prestige stores.
Country road.
And ours is also
Take
prestige
me
now.
home.
Yeah, no, that's one of the 3 I'm naming. It's that one, and then the other 2 cities. I realize this is super vague to listeners.
The
but
only GameStop I've ever been to that wasn't prestiged around here is the one that's in a mall, and it makes sense why it's not, because it's in a mall.
yeah. So yeah, I could see why, like in major cities, people just get shit Amazon to them and stuff all the time these days. Like if they want it physically, they don't even bother leaving the house. It's very rare to see that. Like people don't get excited for nighttime releases of major games or anything like that anymore. It's just something that, it's
A lot of people buy digitally, and even the console market is a lot of people like to have them delivered to their house now.
yeah.
That's me. I use delivery all the time.
It's a lot more convenient, especially if you work a job that rarely lets you get out at times that stores are open. I think third
I'm
shift.
just
And
lazy.
digital's convenient just because preloading exists, and being able to just buy it on your time, whether that be like, oh, I want to play this game, but it's 4 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can just buy.
Yeah, digital market is definitely a major hitter on them too right now. And then I think the other big thing is that they sold their souls to whatever that clothing company was a long time ago, which basically fucked their stores.
I mean, they bought Think Geek, and I think that actually hurt them more than it helped
That's
them.
what it was. Yeah, they bought Think Geek. Yeah, that I think. Yeah, I also think that really just killed them more than it did anything good for them. So yeah, my shriveled, cholesterol-filled heart goes out to all the people that lost their jobs. All joking aside, it sucks because, like, I'm sure in the industry itself, it's very hard to find actual, like, publicized jobs like that, and I bet a lot of people were already comfortable with their positions at Game Informer. So I wish all those people luck.
I think what sucks is that, or like what makes it even worse, is that if you read some of these people, like some of the guys that got fired have been working for Game Informer since day one, since their first printed magazine. Those people got laid off. One of the guys found out while he was on his vacation. One guy found out while he was in Germany writing an article on Gamescom. That's when he found out he was laid off. It's like they didn't handle this in the most professional way they could have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was very tasteless. So, gonna bring up a classic segment. I'd say it's classic at this point.
Classic WoW.
No, we already talked about that.
Oh.
Bring up
Classic segment.
this is sidebar. Everybody knows what sidebar is. So, real quick, sidebar. Oninaki came out today
Oh yes.
on
I'm
Nintendo
really
Switch.
excited to play it.
Yeah, actually, it got mad reviews, but I still want to play it.
I think I Am Setsuna did too, but I thought I Am Setsuna was alright.
Yeah, I've always heard that was good, despite those reviews.
The demo for Oninaki was beautiful, so I can't imagine
Yeah.
the actual game's going to be.
I think I think it'll be at least a decent game. Swimming in sevens at best. The Dragon Quest XI demo came out too, the 10-hour one. You should get that, Seth. Since it's like just a demo. It's like it doesn't cost any money or nothing, and it's 10 hours of the game that you get to just play.
Is it the DQ11 like S or whatever they're
Yeah,
calling it?
on Switch. Yeah,
I'll probably check it out. That seems really exciting.
It's good.
I played it for a half hour on stream earlier. It was I enjoyed it for the most part, and the port doesn't look too bad. There wasn't a whole lot of downgrading done. You could tell it still looked pretty good.
I actually saw like side by side comparisons of all the versions of Dragon Quest XI, and they haven't really made a lot of graphic fidelity huge changes except for jumping from the 3DS to the PS4, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I want to talk about? Also, sidebar.
What's that?
The new One Punch Man game coming out. Have any of you seen gameplay about how that's going to work?
I actually have not, but I did hear it was coming
It's a
out.
fighting game. No, not everybody dies in one punch.
Right, it is. So what they did, Kyle, is they made it to where when you're fighting, like let's say you're playing what's that bicycler's name? I can't remember his name. Do you remember? But the weakest guy. Let's say you're playing him and you're
Lance
fighting.
Armstrong. Yeah, go ahead.
But you're fighting like a really strong boss and he's kicking your ass. As long as you can hold out. The goal of the game is to hold out until Saitama gets there to one punch
No
that
fucking
boss.
way. Really?
Yeah. And you can decrease the timer by doing like perfect guards, combos. So it's just that's how they solved the problem of Saitama being like overpowered, was making a timer trying to wait for him to get there. And I thought that's such a fresh and unique
That
idea.
is honestly probably one of the coolest concepts for a game, like based around the story of the manga itself I've ever heard.
I have a neat little sidebar since we're talking about anime video games.
Code Vein?
They revealed the rest of the or not the rest, but some more playable characters for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, being Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks.
Yes.
And it goes to the Cell Saga.
As far as we know, it goes to the Cell Saga, but they showed off adult Trunks, so they could go even further. Could go back around to Mecha Frieza.
But Adult Trunks was in the Cell Saga.
I know, but I'm saying like it's like they're leaving it open enough to just keep going. So we don't know how long.
I think you
it's
have
gonna
your
go.
lore backwards too, because you just said it could go all the way to Mecha Frieza. Mecha Frieza's at the beginning of the Cell Saga.
I thought he was at the end of the Cell Saga.
No, he's
like after the Cell games.
No, he's there before, because that's how Future Trunks gets there. He like Mecha Frieza shows up and is like, "You thought you killed me, pussies," and then like Future Trunks shows up and is like, "Yeah, shut up," and kills him.
Kills him in like 1 second.
Slices him to 10 million pieces.
Yeah, and then does that really cool like thing with his hand. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, like that game. I think that game is going to be a really interesting take on Dragon Ball as well. I think it'll do it a lot better than Dragon Ball Sagas did. If you guys remember that shitty game.
Don't remind me.
Oh man, it's been a wild week. We've got a lot of weird announcements this week. I don't think a lot of people realize that when it comes to Jason, you all right?
Yeah.
You good, bud?
I just think a lot of people don't realize that there's so much happening in other places with gaming too that isn't just like the US, and Gamescom is one of those places where when stuff happens, you've really got to be looking forward or like for it so that you're not like left in the dust and then suddenly, oh, here's this announcement and you're like, what? Where did this come from? So we kind of like needle picked the things that we were going to talk about today. Honestly, I just want to say that there's a lot that's happening at Gamescom that we just aren't going to cover in this episode of the podcast. I'm sure that there will be some other things that get brought up later in the next like week or so that is going to be awesome, like the Avengers gameplay. Probably should have talked about that a lot more, but I've barely seen anything of it. I've seen the Captain America segment of it, and that's it.
Also, it was leaked.
Yeah, we had already seen bits and pieces of it anyways. Well, I think that's it, guys. I think we're done for the night. Anybody got any final things they want to talk about? Just one more small segment. If we got anything.
I don't
Frogs are
believe
the
so.
best.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us, everybody. Thanks so much for watching once again. As always, you can find us at the Twitter handles on the screen. For audio listeners, it is at LimitlessOA, at Sneaky Butt Stabs, at Frogger with 2 G's. Jason doesn't have a Twitter, or does he? Do you have a Twitter yet?
Still don't.
Still kicking it without one. All right. And then Travis, who wasn't here today, but you can find him at merm_. The last week's episode should be up soon. I don't know why I'm saying this at the end of this week's episode, because you're not going to find out until this week's episode goes up. So it's like an endless loop of me telling you things that's going to happen and then you never seeing it. That's happened the past like 2 episodes too. And I
That's the
realized
magic.
it after editing. Yeah, that's the magic. You realize you're like, wow, this was it. This was the one he was talking about. I don't really have anything going on stream wise. I guess I'll be playing that Dragon Quest demo some more as the next couple weeks go on. I'm gonna try to hold off on it as much as possible until we get closer to the actual game's release date. That way I can like just play that straight into the game when it comes out. But yeah, I think we are done. That's a wrap. Final words.
Oh wait, I am going to start streaming next week. By the
Okay,
way.
so you can find Seth under what on Mixer? What's the name?
I'll send you the link and you can put it in the description because I don't remember.
Okay. Alright, we'll make that happen. Okay, final word. Go play Remnant from the Ashes. That game's really fucking cool. Alright, we'll see you next time, everybody.